Okay, hey everybody. Welcome to my virtual lesson series. This will cover the executive branch today, at least one part of it. So today we're just going to do executive branch virtual lesson 1. Okay, I provided this Google Slides for you, and a couple key things here. Vocabulary words are going to be in this pink magenta color here. Clickable links will be in this aqua color, and any assignments will be in this red color. I don't have any assignments on here right now. I will update the Google slide as you have access to it. Alright, so we're going to start off with primary elections. And what a primary election is an election to select a candidate for the general election. So I describe this as a way for the Republicans and Democrats to have their candidate. So a sentence that we're going to use is the primary to elect a Democratic candidate will be held on June 2nd, 2020. It was April 28th, 2020, but that had recently changed because of what is going on. Alright, so in the Democratic primary election we have Joe Biden and we have Bernie Sanders here. Okay, so if you see here we have our first clickable link, and I will go ahead and click on that. And this just shows you the remaining primary elections that we have. This will be used in one of your assignments, so make sure that you use this link here in order to access the assignment and properly answer it. Cool. Alright, so moving on. If you're wondering what a candidate is, it is somebody running for office, okay? So as mentioned before, Joe Biden is a candidate running for president in 2020. So here's just another activity basically that you can do. I really like this activity, but it's really up to you if you want to use it. What it is a website called iSideWith. And here you can find out if you agree with certain candidates based on issues that they have provided. So if you go down here, you click on yes, no, other stances for each question, and then at the end it will show you your results and it will tell you which candidate you most likely side with, hence the iSideWith. So this is kind of fun if you want to do this on your own time, just to see what candidates you agree with. Alright, now moving along here. Another vocabulary word that we have is delegate. It's a person meant to represent a certain amount of people in a presidential primary election. So this is kind of confusing, but each state has a certain amount of delegates, right? And each candidate is trying to get a certain amount of delegates, which is 1,991, to vote for them before the Democratic National Convention. So the larger states, or the more populous states, will have more delegates, and you will see that the smaller states will have a smaller amount of delegates, right? So this is the amount of delegates that are needed for currently for the Democrats to gain the nomination, right? So Joe Biden's in the lead right now, and is trying to get to this number, right? So you can see the current count right here. I'll go ahead and click on that for you. just to show you where we are. And that is coming up. As I said before, Joe Biden is currently in the lead with 1,200. So he needs about 700 more to go. And Bernie Sanders has about 914. So you can do the math and kind of figure out when Joe Biden will have enough, or if Bernie Sanders will come back and get more delegates than him. So, all right, moving along here. So after the primary election is the general election. It's an election that occurs once the major political parties have chosen their candidate. The general election will be held on November 3rd, 2020. All right, and since the Republicans already have a president in office, or an incumbent, it is most likely that the Republicans will go ahead and have Donald Trump be their candidate, whereas the Democrats are currently going through a primary election with Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders. So once that's all cleared up, we will decide in the general election who will win. So you kind of see that I've set this up almost like a tournament type situation here. So we have primary election round. So we're going to give Donald Trump the bye here, whereas Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders will be battling each other, and the winner will go for the general election round or the championship. So that's kind of a way to look at it. All right. Now, I mentioned this word incumbent, and it is when the current president is running for a second term. So an example, when Barack Obama ran for a second term in 2012, he was the incumbent. And as mentioned before, Donald Trump is currently the incumbent. So this is just a little political cartoon that I found. Can't you come up with a better slogan for incumbents? Keep the bums in. It's kind of interesting because incumbents are generally difficult to beat for multiple reasons that we're not going to get into right now. But this is just kind of mocking that aspect of it. All right, so we are going to go into one of the more complex and difficult parts of government, and that's called the Electoral College, and it's a body of people representing the states of the U.S. to formally cast votes for the president. So it's kind of along the same lines as delegates. So as you can see here, this map represents the last election that we had, and it shows each state having a number by it. Now these would be the electoral votes, or electoral college votes, and that is based upon how many representatives there are in Congress. There's a video here that explains it way better than what I'm doing right now, but that's kind of the short gist of it. It's also a cool website here. It's called 270 to Win. So you're going to be using this as one of your assignments as well. There's a lot of negatives and a lot of positives to the Electoral College. This video really goes into that. But as you can see, some of these states with more population seem to get more recognition or more campaign. So states like New York, Pennsylvania, Texas, California, they really are the big ticket items, and a lot of times candidates will choose to focus more on them. So that's one of the negatives that the video talks about. Or you can look at that as a positive, honestly, if you want. It's all up to you. But once again, this video does a lot better at explaining it, and this website will help you out as well. Okay, so I think that's the end of my presentation today. I hope you enjoyed. Want everybody to stay safe out there. You know, make sure you're washing your hands. Make sure you're listening to the directives that are given to you. You know, I know everything's troubling right now, but we're going to get through this, and I'm going to keep trying to make these videos to help you out. Thanks, everybody. Bye.